Welcome to Dance to Heal. I'm your host, Jenny C. Cohen. Join me as I share stories of how dance and movement can bring healing in a way that is safe and tailored to your life. I'm a cancer survivor, mother of two, and an award-winning performer who found that movement was vital to my recovery. I created Dance to Heal Wellness and also authored the best-selling book, Outside in Recovery, Dancing My Way Back to Myself After Breast Cancer. I will bring new techniques to help you on your dance journey and healing path. Are you ready to move? Dance to Heal starts now. Samantha Karim has loved dance all her life and now shares this with the world. She is internationally known for her 1-minute drills and thought-provoking videos on social media. Her online membership helps working women find joy again through the art of belly dance. Samantha blends her irreverent humor and bold, no-nonsense life coaching within her academy to assist her clients to success. So, folks, my wonderful audience, it is such a pleasure to have you here, Sam. Yo, I call her Sam because I know her from other events. I know her name's Samantha.
I love it.
If you've seen some of Samantha's ads, she has gone viral on social media. And the reason why I felt it was so important to have her here is to just let you know she is a very personable person. I mean, I've known her in a dance realm where she is the fastest, quickest person to sing the Queen song. You remember Dream Camp? When we went off into...
I loved Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay, yeah.
Wonderful. When we were in the dining area, that was really, I actually reflect upon that moment. I have reflected upon that moment several times since that day.
Yes. We were at a dance intensive in Montreal. One of my first times actually meeting you, Samantha, I think, right? Yeah.
I think that was the first time we met. And then from there, that's when you invited me to Raw Epiphany. And I was like, oh, yeah, I think I'm going to go. And then I went.
Yeah. And to date, you're one of my favorite participants because the key to these situations when you go to a learning event, because that was my focus for Raw Epiphany. Right.
Yeah,
and I'm really glad you got value because I worked really hard. And
yes, of course.
Right. And Samantha will always throw herself into whatever you think you want. And if she's interested, she'll throw herself 100%. And I really wanted to have you share with the audience, because now that I've given you this wonderful intro, so basically you got to take classes with her. She's got an amazing online presence. And yet, tell us how you stumbled on this dance form, what your background is. Some of the bio goes into it, and you could access a lot of it on her website. But give us a little backstory, stuff that
absolutely. So there's home videos of when I was really small where I'm just like kind of wiggling my butt around. And I was like, I'm really cute. So I love dancing. My mom has always loved dancing. And so as I went through the years, one of my main genres that I loved was actually hip hop and just club dancing. So every teen night that was out there, I would go in my small town of Sierra Vista, Arizona, and I would just dance and I would booty pop all day. But my intuition told me I had a lot of power behind the lower half of my body and just feeling rhythm and just emphasizing it and being in it. And so as I got older, I did take ballet and modern when I was younger, but it was nothing that I actually kept with. It was a year's worth and then stopped, baton twirling, then stopped. So nothing was ever ongoing. And then when I got to college, I actually learned Rueda de Casino, and it was so fun. And it's essentially group salsa where everyone dances together. They call a move and everyone switches partners. I ended up teaching that, loved it so much. And when that period of time in my life was happening, that was also when I lived off campus. So this was 2001. I'm 41 years old. So if I get some dates wrong, I have to go back and what is the timeline? But I lived in an apartment and my roommates were paired with me. I didn't know anybody. And so I was just paired with one woman from Palestine and one woman from Jordan. And their names are Ghada and Layla. And I adored them. They were the sweetest women, very caring. They took me under their wing because they were doing their master's at U of A, and I was just there for my undergrad freshman year. And I just learned a lot from them. I learned their own autonomy. I learned their music. This is where I got first introduced to the Middle Eastern music sound and hummus and like all of these things. And like she made me maklube, like Rada did. And I was like, this is the most amazing dish ever. Teach me your culture. I want to know. Because although I had grown up in a military household and we had traveled, I rarely came across anyone from the Middle Eastern culture. In fact, I don't know that I ever did, or at least I didn't know that they were from Middle Eastern culture. So I was like, what is this music? What are the moves that you're doing? I'm super fascinated that you can move your body this way. It was totally within my realm of expression. So I was like, this is a hip drop. This is a hip lift. This is the sound. Hooked. So the minute I moved to Phoenix in 2006, I started taking belly dance classes, and then I've been doing it ever since. Yeah.
Are you based out in Phoenix now?
Yeah, I'm still in Phoenix now. So it's been like, what, 18 years, beginning of 18 years that I've been in Phoenix, but I've been in Arizona since 1993.
Wow.
I know.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So crazy. I know.
Well, okay, so you don't need to go to Phoenix, even though I would recommend whenever Samantha has an event, you fly into Phoenix. It's a very easy airport, okay? And your online platform on Samantha Kareem, KARIM.com. So full Samantha, KARIM.com, you can access and get in touch with her. What do you recommend they do when they get on that website?
First of all, take your time. Just look around. There's not a lot to see, but there's no rush through reading what I'm talking about. Everything is really about the reader, who is the woman that I'm helping her find her confidence, her joy, and movement again in her life so that she just walks through the world feeling really freaking good in her own body, not only in her body, but in her mind and emotionally. And so once you get to the main website, just scroll down, you'll see a free class that I offer, sign up. Whether or not you actually intend on taking classes with me, just take the free class. It will make you feel good, it'll reconnect with you, and it'll inspire you to help take care of yourself more. So that's the first thing I would recommend. Explore the website, but also really sign up for the free class.
Oh, I love that. Yes, sign up for Samantha's class. And those of you who are returnees, you know you can get a free class with me on danceandheal.com. Now, I want to talk about, all right?
Yes.
Without giving away confidences, right? Because I get a lot of questions sometimes. Well, I don't really dance. Like, how do I get started? Like, because sometimes even a free class, they'll bulk. People will. So I bet you some of you listeners are going, well, I'm not going to do a free class. What would you suggest they try before maybe they do our class? What could they play with?
I think there's so many things that you could play with before actually taking a free class. And one is just listening to music and then even writing down what your goals are. Sometimes the reason why people don't want to take free stuff is because they don't actually know what they want. So if they get clear on what they want first, then you'll know, does that free class actually make sense for you to take? Maybe it doesn't make sense. And then, okay, you don't have to question that thought anymore, but really get clear on what you want for yourself. And be specific for yourself. Be as specific as possible. Not, I just want to feel better. That's too vague. It's too open to interpretation. You don't even know what it means. So get down into the details. Like, I want to be someone who can carry herself with confidence when I put on my clothes, when I look in the mirror, when I speak with my coworkers, when I go to the grocery store, right? Like, get really specific about what you want. Then when a class or an opportunity presents itself, you'll know whether that fits within what you want and to start going after it.
Oh, bingo. Thank you. That's excellent, excellent advice. That's actually very new because usually the feedback or some tidbits has been just start moving. Right? Start moving, which is good. It serves everybody. And I love this reminder still to figure out what your need is and not be prone to all the ads saying, just dance, just dance. And for me, it's My people that come to me are the ones who are not present in their bodies. They know they're not present. They're feeling very pulled between work and family, or work and a relationship, and they know their health is not 100% because they're drying up their well, right? And they're not replenishing. Not even giving themselves permission to rest. Now, I was just on a call with my energy healer who does a podcast, and one of our participants, you stay on afterwards, Sam, and then she'll give you coaching for free afterwards, and she's phenomenal. Anyways, and a person was saying, well, I already got over that last year. And we all were like, that was just last year. Like, you still haven't really rested. Well, I take naps. That's not what we're talking about. When you need to know what you want, you want to feel it in your gut, and it has to actually ring true throughout your body. So I love this, you asking them, Sam, what do you really want? I want to feel more confident. For me, when I started coming back to life after the breast cancer, it was this unawareness actually that I was using dance as a way to run away. And when you're going through something stressful, any life experience, you disassociate a little bit to get through it.
Yeah, you're not alone in that. I feel like a lot of people use dance or honestly, if you took out dance and you inserted other activity, many of us do this all the time. It's not just dance, but since we're talking about dance, we use it sometimes to escape, to avoid, because it gives us this sense of anti-anxiety, reduced stress. It gets us moving, which automatically feels great because you're literally releasing any energy that was pent up. And dance is just the physical expression of your emotion. So when you're going through grief, suffering, loss, happiness, excitement, it's no wonder we turn to dance, because it is one of the most purest joys to physically give our emotions a language. And but when we over dial in and forget the purpose of what we want, right? Then we use it in a way that stops being useful or helpful to us anymore. And that's when it's like, oh, I need to check in. But I've done it too. I've danced through crying, through grief, through pain, I was just like, I do not want to go back in the house. That child is getting on my last nerve. So I now have 2 kids, but at the time it was just Sabina. And I was like, okay, and I used journaling for that too. I would avoid and process my feelings and all of that stuff. And eventually I was like, this is not why I want to use dance. Jenny, for you, how did you know that you were using it to avoid versus enhance your life?
Oh, yeah. So this is, I have permission to speak on this for my children because they're of legal age now. And even before, they always gave me permission. After my breast cancer was done and I was in recovery and I was running away, in chemotherapy, you have to sit there and let them blast you with poison. Same with radiation, same with pre-op, and also with the surgery. So you're in this freeze response. And you never really come out of it if you're not actively working with a therapist who understands that, especially for a dancer, who willingly sits down with them, pump poison in your body 16 times, where you lose your hair, lose your ability to have a period, put you into menopause, gives you osteoporosis, give you neuropathies, you get chemo brain, all this stuff. Who willingly does that, right? So a lot of people I've spoken to, we all go into a freeze response, you disassociate during that time, and then most of us don't come back. So the dance that I was using during all that treatment to replenish my energy, I ended up using that more as a distraction and not sitting in the rehabilitation process afterwards. And the only thing that brought me back, Sam, was my family, because I almost lost one of my kids. This child went into severe distress because we moved during this session, and I have twins. So one of the siblings transitioned in the LGBTQ plus community, and this one child internalized a lot of the stress of everything happening. The month before I got breast cancer, my husband had emergency bowel obstruction surgery, which we thought his cancer had come back. It was totally stressful. Yeah. And this child, 16, 17, started doing severe self-harm. Trigger warning, severe self-harm, and then told me Mother's Day of 2017, they didn't want to be alive anymore, and they were making plans to just exit, get out. And I was an OT before, Sam, and I said, I got you. And I went into clinical mode. I'm very good at emergency setups, set up therapy, locked up all the knives, and went right back to escape. 2 weeks later, a California dance artist was in Salt Lake. And I went to this workshop, and I got a call from my husband as I'm walking out of the workshops that my kid had a relapse. Everybody would have pizza. Everyone falls asleep after pizza. And this child, I had missed a brand new fish fillet knife because I wasn't present. And my child planned, knew I was away those 2 hours, knew their twin and father would fall asleep after pizza, suggested pizza that day, waited for everyone to fall asleep, locked themselves in the bathroom, and carved up their arm. Like,
What a difficult experience.
it was just, all I remember is the blank look my child gave me. My child wasn't there, just like horror movie eyeballs staring at me. And I'm patching up the arm and thinking, I am going to lose this baby. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, it was every time I've grown a backbone, set firm limits was always children based or my husband.
Isn't it interesting how like those firm boundaries kick in when it comes to the people we hold most dear, but then our own personal boundaries we cross all the time?
You know how many people, yeah. And one thing about the dance that I've learned though, right, Sam, is once I got present and realized I had to be present to keep my child safe. And so I can be in this conversation with you and know, like energetically, immediately, if they're not safe. Both of them, my husband included. And in the past, we were just floating by the grace of God, you know? My child said something to me, right? Yeah. And I mean, of course, now they are high achievers in college, amazing artists, all that. And still, they'll have relapses of spiral downward. And I see it coming. And because they're young adults now, we wait for them to come to me. You know, in the recovery, the first couple of years, it was if you're not going to take care of yourself, then you can't have a cat. Because your cat, it's relying on you to have, you know, a clean place to poo and food and water.
Girl, tell me, my children keep wanting a dog. And I was like, this dog will not have a great life if we get one right now, because you will not take care of it. I'm pretty sure it will not do well under my care. And I'm like, it's just not fair. I'm not being responsible for another living thing when I'm flying by the seat of my pants for the 4 people in my house that I'm responsible for now. And that's me included. So I was like, to throw a dog in the mix, that's just not fair to the dog. Let it go to a home who will love it unconditionally. I will be so bad. And my kids looked at me like, and I was like, I'm not changing my mind. You can start with a fish. I can manage a fish and practice taking care of living things.
There you go.
That's a boundary. I refuse to harm any animal. I was like, even bugs in our house, we practice taking care, like gently removing them like this on a sheet of paper and putting them out. I feel so bad killing mosquitoes even. Actually, I don't feel as bad killing mosquitoes because they carry disease. But like all the other little things we try and bring them out because I'm just like, it's that boundary of like, I don't want to crush something or not take care of something because it becomes an inconvenience. And I feel like, and it's just not fair. It's not a respectful life.
Audience, remember something, right? Okay, so Samantha is very, very correct, I think, because she knows where her limits were, right? And I got cancer because I didn't know where my limits were. Seriously, I just overextended myself, so energetically I was spread thin. And I really want you to hear this. She has a thriving business online, children, and she knew where her limits were. And I know that once I got present, dance helped me learn where my limits were. You know what I mean? Like when I go away to dance events now and all of this recovery process, and I know a lot of your clients have also grown a lot in your classes, Sam.
Absolutely.
Right? You learn autonomy in dance. You learn very quick the return to your own empowerment. The self-help thing about how I can empower you. I'm like, no, you can empower yourself. We'll just find the connection for you in class.
Yes. And like, this is one of the things, excuse me, that I keep telling my students. My goal is for you to not need me one day. And not because I don't want to be around to support them, but I want to be able to support them on a different level. Right. And like one of the things that I built into my membership portal with the pre-recorded classes and even with the live classes that I do, which is all in their package, is like everything is woven into what do you know about your body? What can you feel right now? I cannot tell somebody you feel this way. You should feel this way. I was like, should they? By whose standard? Do I know better about their life than they do? I don't think so. And so one of the things is like getting really clear on me being able to teach them to help themselves. And like, I'm always encouraging them, like, let your brilliance shine through. Like, ask yourself the question and answer it first as much as you can before you bring the question to me. Not that I don't welcome any question, I do, but I want them to just kind of mill their own mind first, because they'll be surprised at how much they already know. And they may be like, oh, maybe I just want to ask her for confirmation or to get like a second opinion. Amazing. But know that the first opinion is yours and the one that matters most.
Bingo. Did you hear that? Just a moment of silence, let that sink in. Your opinion matters most, especially when you're really connected mind to body.
Yes.
It's okay when you're first showing up in a teacher's setting and you're looking for a teacher and you're learning that. Sam and I were in a conversation about being trauma informed, and some people don't know what that means. And it's just telling you, look, when you start to move your body in any type of movement format, our body carries memories. That's already been documented in science, y'all. So that's something that we're trying to prove to you. It's in scientific studies that have been proven. When you start to move it, it will release it. You just want to be with a teacher that knows when to direct you to a therapist and when to keep you safe, right? And we want you to be very aware of what you can physically do and not do. I was old school. I had teachers that didn't know about body mechanics. And they were having me doing moves that I didn't realize until after I hurt myself. They really weren't safe for you. And we don't want that for you. Our goal is for having you move in longevity. And part of that is, right? The part of that is, yeah. And so check out Samantha's website. Check out my Dance and Heal free class on danceandheal.com. And then there's actually something else I wanted to ask Sam, and then we're gonna have to bring it back because I'm already maxed out. My producer's gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble with my producer. I'm sorry, Kay. She's in London. I love her English accent, especially when she scolds me, but I'm not gonna do it a lot. Sorry, Kay. And so, last question.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to have you come back for part B. If any of what we're talking about is bringing up questions for you, feel free to post. If you're watching YouTube, post in the questions below, and we'll have Sam answer it. And if it's something we can't answer just on a simple print, we will definitely answer that when Sam comes back for part B. Good?
Yeah. And like, truly, we mean it. You all like really write your questions and your comments. Some people think that they don't really mean that, but we really mean it, because I think that keeps the dialogue alive. So like, really, we welcome you to write these comments in the
Yeah. I was in a TEDx application, and part of it was to look up TEDx's talking about the effects of dance and stuff to make sure that my topic wasn't going to be a repeat of someone else's, right? And I happenstance on another woman who talked, her whole talk was about how therapeutic is to talk about sexuality and your need for it, or your questions about it. And because she was already a researcher, she was having scientific data that talked about how it made it better when you talked about it. So I'm not asking you to ask those questions about sex. You can. We're not necessarily going to tell you if we're qualified to answer those questions. The point of it is the more you speak on something, it helps you process it, and then you come up with your own answers, and inevitably it actually makes your life better.
Yes.
Because you're talking about it. Nothing's hidden.
Yeah. It reduces the shame. It takes away the shame around questioning and what we think the judgment will happen when we ask a question, but it really starts to dissipate shame. Shame will never go away. I want to be very clear about that. It is something that as humans, we will consistently experience. And there's ways to reduce the amount and have them less frequently in between, right? So it's nothing we'll ever get rid of, but when it comes to asking questions, there's definitely something that we can do that empowers us to feel good about advocating for our own knowledge and education.
Oh, I love that. So if you've watched this long, and I know many, many people will watch this episode, Sam, type in type in comments PQ, because I have a modality that can help you with that, folks, because shame never goes away. Yet there's a really strong, powerful tool to help you with that we can't talk about because it's part B. Sorry, folks. Come back for part B. All right. Last question, Sam.
Yes.
If someone wants to start dance and they don't even know what kind to start with because I live in Salt Lake, so I come from a community that is very, very strict on movement exploration for people. Then again, there's still a lot of belly dancers here in Salt Lake area. If someone who is never really known what to start with and they're not really interested per se in belly dancing, for example, right? You and I are versed in different formats, lots of other ways. How does one start that exploration? What could they try first or even look up?
That's a great question. So if you have any friends or people you know whose opinion you trust, I would ask them first, is there any kind of movement teachers that you think that I would enjoy? And then get recommendations, because I think word of mouth is really powerful in offering that level of safety and trust immediately. It's one less barrier to taking the next step if it comes from someone you trust. So asking that, but also do a little bit of research. Like, don't rush into trying to move. Find someone whom you connect with by Google searching, read reviews, like find them on Yelp, look at their website. Is what they're saying making sense to you? Despite the movement vocabulary that you would learn, you will not enjoy the class or be willing to ask questions or feel confident that you can succeed in someone's class if you don't like the person or even think that they can get you where you want to go. So it's really first more not about the class. It's more about who is leading the class, who's facilitating the class, because you can find different movement facets anywhere. Find the people that are going to be your people, the people who inspire you, the people who are modeling the qualities that you want to encompass one day for yourself, and go research them and find them, and then take your time in doing that. And I will say, don't get lost in avoiding actually moving by using this part of the process to just stay static in your process, right? Like, allow yourself, I'm just going to research for maybe 30 minutes, 3 people, and who makes the most sense. And then the kicker is you have to go take a class with someone who you vetted, because there's nothing, talking about it isn't doing it, preparing for it isn't doing it, thinking about it isn't doing it. You actually have to do it. So word of mouth referrals from people you trust, really look up vetted people whom you think that you would really connect with and that their mission is to really give you something that you are looking to get, and then go do the class and be honest with yourself what you thought about it. What worked, what felt good, what wasn't good, what did you like, what didn't you like, and then keep fine-tuning the process over and over.
Oh, I love that too. That's really good advice, because here's the thing, folks. Your dance journey, if you're in the middle of it, you know this already. Your teachers will change depending on what you need.
Yeah,
It will shift.
absolutely.
And, right, my first teacher was someone that did not encourage us to get different perspectives. And the goal is for you to find your own team of teachers. There's never just one teacher that's going to fulfill what you need. That's just a
No,
fact. Even
no
in
one
business,
teacher is an expert in everything. There's
yeah,
not. There's no one teacher who's an expert in everything, nor should they be, because it would minimize the quality of the investment of their knowledge, right?
yeah.
So we don't want an expert in everything. We want compartmentalized expertise that you can go to this person, this person. I tell my students all the time, I would encourage them highly to take other workshops, study with other teachers. I'm always here. Like, it's not a form of like, well, you can only study with me, or like, I'm going to lose a student. I don't care about that, because people will stay with you as long as you are helping them get what they want and you keep showing up. as an instructor, right? So I'm not worried about like my contribution to people. I want them to feel safe that they can explore with whomever they want without repercussion. Like, do
Yes. And so just so you know, if you have a teacher that's like that, unless you really, really want to be like that, and that's fine. Of course, that may serve you, right? And at the same time, that I would caution a teacher that that's their in their contract that you can't learn from other people. So
yeah,
be clear on that.
you have
That
to
that is a flag. That is a flag. Okay. And I did not know because I was a baby dancer, even though I was an adult, mother of twins who were almost 4, you would think. And I was brought up in a generation where you respected your teachers. I found her in a penny saver, y'all, and I just followed her verbatim and negated the experience and learned from other teachers because I trusted her opinion. And you always want to be in a situation where you're in the power position, not necessarily your teacher. We have knowledge we want to share with you. We are never the end all be all for you. You need to make those decisions, folks. And I'm going to end on one thing. If you're not aware of muscle testing, look that up and ask us also in the questions. Talk about muscle testing because your mind may be saying to yourself after you do research, oh my God, they have 5-star reviews and everybody loves them. And then you watch the video because some of them will have online classes, right? Or you go in person and the feeling is off. You want to trust your feeling. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying, Sam? Like I've had teachers where everyone loves them. You're supposed to take from them. And I go, oh, this teacher's not for me.
There was one teacher that had come out to the States. She's not from the US. And she was manipulating people's bodies in a way that I was like, if she comes over and she
touches
puts
you
on me, I will let her know, please don't. I felt it was very unsafe and it did not honor the body conditioning level that those people had, nor did I don't remember hearing her ask for permission to touch them. And that was another thing too, was like, I always ask my students, even when I already have been their teacher for a long time, we had our annual member event because I only teach online. So everyone came to Phoenix, which was amazing. And before I touched them, even though I've known them for like a long time, I was like, may I put my hands, like, may I touch you? And they were like, yeah, absolutely. I was like, but it's not something that I'm entitled to do because I'm an instructor. And just to piggyback off of something that you had said was like, your instructors may have more skill or education or training, but it's not that they know better than you. They may have experiences that you can learn from and they will teach you that, or they will have like the education that they've gone to school for a long time and trained, as most of us have when we get to this level. We've trained for years and years and years and continue to do so. And then we share that with you. But you always have the final say. And I think this is really important, is you have the final say, not your instructors. You ultimately can do whatever you want to do, whether you think the teacher will like it or not. That can be a further follow-up discussion with your instructor. But in the end, you always have full faculty and agency to do whatever you want. And that means advocating for your body and your emotion, and to walk out of a class when a teacher's being a dick.
Yeah. And you can tell them, Sam and Jenny gave me permission to walk out because, you know, and here's the thing, you really need to understand that. And we're not asking you to say to the teacher, you're a dick as you walk out. That's not necessary. Honestly, you just leave or abstain or do your own variation. It took me years to give myself permission to do what felt good to me. Two things we really want you to be aware of when you're going into a class. One, the teacher should be advocating for you to listen to your body first. That is the new direction, folks, in dance, just so you know. For people who want you to dance in longevity and who are really there for you, they will ask you, pay attention to your body. If what I'm asking you to do is something that doesn't feel right or safe, or you need another variation, tell me and I will give it to you. That's really important. 2, if they're doing corrections, there should be verbal consent given before they touch you.
I believe in that. Like, me showing up to class isn't an automatic, you can touch me. Because had that teacher put her hands on me, I would have been like, no, I would not like you to correct my body.
Yeah.
Forcing pressure. It was insane. I was like, one, you can tear muscle, and two, you can make that person cramp, and three, they may not walk out of here dancing the same way, and not in a great way. And I was like, we hired this instructor to come and do this? I was like, what the hell is happening?
Oh no.
I was so pissed. I was so pissed, but I'm like, I'm just watching out, and I'm just like,
Yeah, right. And if you're ever in a live class with me, everyone, I will most likely ask you to put your hands on me and be like, all right, I need your hip to move this way. Touch my hip. You see what I'm doing? All right, now do you feel that in your body? Put your hands on your hip. Is it do the same thing? That's different. You know what I mean? Okay, so we really have to do a part B because we got really excited, and I want you to hear the excitement about this because we're so vested in your success.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? And I think like the biggest thing that I can leave you all with today is really to tune into yourself despite what other people say. Because it's not like you have to change anything. And I told my students this, I was like, just because you know better doesn't mean you have to do anything. And there's that phrase, know better, do better. I don't subscribe to that because then now you're doing things out of obligation that you're forcing yourself to do, which is not authentic. However, when you have awareness and knowledge, you can make a choice whether you want to do something genuinely and sincerely versus what will the world think of you if you don't? And that's not a great place to be. So I don't think if you know better, you do better. No, if you know more about yourself, you will be more equipped to make a full, to make a choice with full awareness. And that, my friends, is the most powerful thing that you can do.
And with that, we must say goodbye. Thank you so much, Sam, for coming.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me, Jenny. This was so much fun. I love intense talks.
All right. So we both had the same mug, you all. So we're gonna say goodbye by cheering you on. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Dance to Heal with Jenny C. Cohen. Come back next time to hear stories of recovery through movement and learn more ways that you can move your body. To work with me and continue your journey, visit outsideinrecovery.com. Are you ready to move?